Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live conversation with regards to employer of record and two big questions. Firstly, what is employer record? And secondly, why should you look down that route? So that's what me and my colleague Bish are doing today. How are you doing, Bish?
I'm doing all right, Greg. How about you? How are you doing?
Yes, very, very well. Thank you. Very, very well. And as we've got here as well, on the right hand side of the screen, there will be a live chat functionality where you can put in any questions. So put those into the comment section and feel free to ask us anything about employer of record as well. We've also got our LinkedIn profiles on there as well. And there is my one. You should be able to click on that from the comments section and also Bish's as well. And afterwards, if you do want to watch our webinar that we ran, that was back in February, if I'm correct in thinking, we do have the link there for you as well. So, like I say, any questions you might have, please do fire those at us. And like I say, in the comment section, there's no silly questions at all, no too complex questions. The only thing I would ask is if you don't put any personal information in there as well, because it is visible on YouTube. But by all means, you can comment through your Google account. So, firstly, what I think is probably the best bet is to start off with a little bit of an overview of what employer of record is. So, traditionally, years ago, companies used to have to set up entities and bank accounts in countries in which they're looking to hire into or move into that country to sell their products, for example. So that was very, very long, drawn out process, which would cost a lot of money, firstly, take a lot of time, and that has never changed. That side of things has never ever changed. It still costs a lot. Also, the legalities, there's a lot more to be wary of nowadays, as there has been ever before, with things, laws changing all the time. For example, take the UK as an example. After Brexit, of course, there was a lot of law changes in this country, which therefore meant it was more difficult to actually set up entities, set up bank accounts in the UK, and it was a little bit more restrictive. Now, why should you use an employer record model for this? Now, say for example, you're looking to move into a country, any country around the world, and let's use India for example. You want to employ one or two people in India to sell your product, or you want a team or start a team over in India. You can do that through this model. And what we effectively do is we do all the compliance, the payroll, the back office admin for you. You don't have to set up that entity or that bank account because we've already got that in India. And therefore, the speed. Imagine this. And let's take it back to the COVID period. If you wanted to sell a product like hand sanitizer into a particular country around the globe, you might want to move very, very fast. And with an employer record model, you could do that. Whereas by setting up that entity in that bank account, it would be a lot more of a long, drawn out process. But it's not just that. And what I can do is I'll go into a little bit more detail about why you would look to employ internationally as well. So, one thing that you will find by employing internationally is that you can attract the best talent globally. So, say for example, and let's take my area of the UK, Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth is known very much as a retirement town. There is a lot of large organisations here, but maybe we don't have the skill set. Maybe the people that you want to actually onboard are going to be quite expensive in this area because they'll already have their current employers. That will of course push the price up because there's going to be less of them. Whereas by using an employer of record model, what you can do is you can find the very best talent from anywhere in the world and bring that person on as part of your ecosystem. So you're responsible for their job roles. If you want a software developer and you haven't got any nearby, or they are very, very expensive, by using an employer record model, you can do that nice and easily. So therefore, bring on the best talent worldwide, talent that maybe you haven't got in the area where you're located. Maybe you are out in the sticks, for example, in a smaller town, and therefore it would make sense. So that is, in a crux of it, what employer record is, and also one of the big, big benefits of what here we do here at Multiplier. Um, Bish, do give us some example. And of course, we can't mention any company names,
Mm-hmm.
but by all means, you should see down the bottom there. There's like a little scrolling bar. You've got both of our email addresses, so feel free to drop us over an email, and we can set up a Zoom call where we can go through this in a bit more detail. But Bish, how about you tell us a little bit more about some of the companies that have used our services? Firstly, where
Mm-hmm.
they were, what their pain points were, what their goals were, what they wanted to do, and
Yeah.
how the multiplier solution helped them.
Well, thanks, Greg. You completely resonated with the ideal of EOR or how it actually works and benefits the customer. And here I want to highlight two of the famous case studies that we always use in client calls and leverage those in value proposition. So, one of the case studies is with the largest recruitment staffing agencies based out of the US. And what we did was they had a challenge of setting up new business line in the Southeast Asia region, where they did not have the compliance expertise, but they did have a very growing need in the growing market since
Mhm,
they always hired from the Southeast Asian countries. And what Multiplier did was they opened a door of compliance, of maintaining onboarding, compliance, as well as payroll in a single dashboard where they could raise a request on demand, and our customer service executive were there in their local time zone, which not many EOR vendors do. And when they compared the EOR vendors at large in the market, they found out that the two competitive reasons they went to Multiplier was one, the exceptional customer support, which they could not find elsewhere. And the second one was very competitive pricing as well as solid partnership where they could align their future roadmaps to Multiplier, and they could be rest assured that we would take care of all their requirements of their clients as well as not have a downtime of any sorts where they could face um, issues later. So
mhm,
that enabled them to swiftly change from their approach of maintaining compliance in house, wherein they had a lot of a wastage of time as well as money because they were recruiting a lot of the lawyers in these countries to handle the compliance. They handled also the tax and administration via a consultancy, and everything was not consolidated. So, with our partnership, that recruitment staffing company in the US made a new business line because they were successfully opening EOR to Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia, which were the three main regions where they hired from, and they opened a new business line. So that was a great case study. Uh,
mhm.
what do you think, Craig?
Yeah, it's a very, very good case study, and that is really one of the key things of EOR as well. Compliance, like I say, is such an important thing. if and laws change all the time. If we take, for example, France in particular is a very, very difficult country to hire into, even if you do have your own entity. Now, if, say, for example, you've got your own entity and you've got your set of employees, then you know if you aren't up to date with all the legalities, maybe you're directing this from the UK. If you fall foul of the law, firstly, it can be very, very costly. It will be more costly for yourselves to
Mm-hmm.
do it that way. First, and also adding on to that, how long and how drawn out the process is of actually getting that person on board in the first place,
I know.
via an entity. So with an EOR model, and with our EOR model, what it means is you can get that person onboarded, and we've got an instantaneous contract generation. So what that means, and let me explain that in a bit more detail. When you get access to the platform, you would put in all the employees' details, their salary, for example, um, so on and so forth, probation periods, non-compete clauses, all of that sort of stuff, all the exciting stuff. At the end of that, what it'll actually do is generate a contract for you. Now, that contract is legally binding. So, therefore, you will not fall foul of any compliance laws. Now, we can, and I should say this, we can amend that contract if you want to. Of course, it will take a little bit longer, but the contracts that are written out are legally binding for you. Also, though, we do have a team on hand, and you will have a customer success manager. Now, that customer success manager will be able to advise you, be able to assist you, be able to help you at all stages of the onboarding process. So, say for example, you're not really sure how to do this, you're struggling a little bit with the system and the setup, we will be able to walk you through that. But to be honest, the system, as you will see from this video as well, again, it is linked in the comment section. So please watch it afterwards as well. It is very, very easy to actually use. And I hate to use this terminology. It's a system that is, built for somebody who doesn't have a clue what they're really doing with regards to, anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. That's where we're getting to here. So it's nice and easy to make sure that you're compliant. But also, another big danger is misclassification. And misclassifying employees can be even worse. With our system, and by using an EOR model, we ensure that you don't have that issue at all. So therefore, we will be able to assist you, and our team, and myself and Bish and the team at Multiplier will be able to assist you to make sure that you do not fall foul of any misclassification rules at all. We haven't got any comments, unfortunately, in at the moment, but like I say, this is the first time we're doing this, Bish.
Yes.
So I'm sure, and I hope that it will grow
Yes.
over the next couple of weeks when we'll do one on a weekly basis. It might not
Yes.
be the same time. We might have
Yes.
to amend the time,
Yes.
which to suit yourselves,
Of
really, to
course.
suit
Of course.
to suit our customers, and our prospects,
Mm-hmm.
for the time which is best for them.
Of
But
course.
Bish, do go through. Of course, you gave us one case study there. Have you got
Mm-hmm.
another case study as well of a good example?
Of course, Craig, you mentioned a lot about compliance and misclassification and how it can penalize the companies. Uh, Having said that, in the time of turbulent economy like it is now, it is a
Yeah.
silent inflation time. We have seen company grow than their competition. Their competition was winding down, and this company, which is the largest um, customer engagement platform based out of in the US,
Mhm.
decided to expand globally. Now, you may think this is ridiculous. How can a company think of expanding in turbulent economy. Well, multiplier can make that happen, and here's how. So with while they were figuring out possibilities of increasing productivity, one of the major issue is HR budgets, and they are always looking for talent pool wherein they could get the extra effort, and there's higher demand, and also there's higher pay package.
Mhm.
Necessarily you do not need to move to that area where you already have offices. There's another approach which you already mentioned, EOR, which with our partnership, they came to understanding that the same skilled professional, like for example, software engineer, which is very highly in demand currently, was available in Southeast Asian continent in Vietnam specifically. They could hire 3 4 individuals at the same price that they were getting one individual. Now, to answer your question, this not only increased their productivity but also it gave them profitability, gave them an extra edge of doing extra work when they when their competition started winding down. So, in comparison to their competition, in times where people were looking to not hire that often, they hired 10x and were able to do 100x of what their competitors could actually achieve. And that is an achievement to be proud of. And that's why we are being leveraged by these companies to an extent wherein we have the expertise of handling local labor laws, and they are updated real time. So you get the benefit of having a customer success manager that is on call on local time zone, and also having a competitive pricing that is in alignment with that local country, that you do not feel that extra burden of having additional cost on handling the cost of the salaries that you are already paying. So that gave them an edge of having a transparency on the dashboard that yes, these are my costs, these are my compliance and onboarding agreement with multiplier as well as the employee which is getting onboarded, and these are the terms of the employment. Everything is transparent, it's on your dashboard. You can extract the pay slips that are going on to the tax authorities and to your company authorities. Everything is abided, and also you do not have to worry about the liabilities that could come up your way if anything goes wrong, because what we do is we handle the legal uh, legalities like you mentioned. It's on paper it's us, so
Yeah.
you have that benefit of not facing the government when anything actually boils down to suing, or you end up in a legal battle which you shouldn't have in the first place. So all of these complexities are taken out, and you can focus on HR activities, on handling the employee KPIs, day-to-day activities, and performance metrics, and onboarding, which is very seamless, as you know. So this case study has enabled the company to make multifold profits as well as grow in the GTM where they did not have any vision to grow at. And that gave them extra clients in Southeast Asia, and then they are prospering as well using multiplier.
Excellent. Thank you, Bish. Well, one thing I would ask, and we do have a couple of people in the room at the moment, this webinar will be available, or this live chat, I should call it, will be available forever and a day after this. So if you are watching on repeat, if you could do me a favor and just press like, and also if you press subscribe, it's not because we're after subscribers, not at all, but if you hit the bell button, what it will do is every time we do one of these, it'll actually pop up on your phone so you can alert it to tell you that whenever we're going live, you can come and watch as well. Although we will put it on LinkedIn, feel free, of course, to follow us as well. And there is our links there. Also, one thing I do want to bring up as well, and again, this is on the main webinar, which we did. Again, click on that link. You can watch that afterwards as well. But one thing that we did mention was the offboarding process. Now, say for example, you choose to offboard an employee. Say for example, they don't hit your required standard, or they choose to leave your business. We will assist you throughout of that. And I'll tell you how we assist you. So firstly, we will tell you the specifics for that individual country. So how much notice period, for example, that is already written into the contract. It's already in there. You will do that on the onboarding of that employee, but we will also tell you about any legalities about that. Also, any equipment that you provide. Say, for example, if it's a PC or a MacBook, we will assist you on actually getting that asset back. So if you provide them with a MacBook, we will help you retrieve that asset, and you can either have that returned to yourself to recycle for the next employee that comes on board, or we can actually hold that for you for a small fee as well. And again, we would discuss that with you at the time when you choose to offboard that person. One thing though to keep in mind is that we do have a monthly payment model. Now, the monthly payment model, it starts from $400 per person per month. Now, that might sound by quite a bit. You know, if you're listening to this, it might sound quite a bit. However, I can assure you, for the protection on compliancy, doing all the payroll, compared to opening your own entity, is a very, very small figure. So that's from $400 per person per month. But as well as that, you will be covered, so any questions, queries, you will have somebody on hand. And we don't have a ticketing system as such. You will have a customer success manager. If it is outside of that customer success manager's time zone, for example, there will be somebody else always on hand to ask, because Multiplier is a global organization. We've got people based all around the world, so therefore there's always going to be somebody awake and on hand to answer any questions you may have. Another thing I do want to bring up as well is we do have the global payroll option. And the global payroll option, say for example, you've got your own entities already, you've got your own team already set up. Not all is lost. So if you're watching this and thinking, well, it doesn't really apply to me because I've got, these entities, I've got, the bank accounts and everything all set up. Accounting and payroll is quite an expensive task, and it can, again, be very, very different for each country around the world. With Multiplier, what we can do is we can send you one simple invoice, and then we will pay those employees for you. So therefore, it takes out the need to know and have an accountancy firm or a payroll partner in each individual country. So again, that is something that if you are quite keen to find out a little bit more, let's jump on a Zoom link. Just drop us an email on one of the links below, and we can set email addresses below, I should say, and we can set you up with a meeting with myself, one of the account management team. We've got also a payroll AEs as well. So we'll be able to answer any questions at all you may have. So unfortunately, we haven't got many questions. I think, it's probably surprised everybody that we are going live today. Like I say, it's something we've had planned for about a week, but at the same time, it's been put onto LinkedIn today. So it is very, very new. But like I say, if you're watching it on repeat, hit that subscribe and hit the bell button to be alerted to any times we do this. You'll find out more when we set up the next one. And then I will also be putting it, and Bish will also be putting it on LinkedIn. And we can get other people from our team as well to join in these calls as well. So I think we've covered quite a bit there, Bish. Do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I want to just cover one small point that
Of
many of
course.
the EOR vendors, they also have onboarding as well as offboarding fees, which they
Mhm.
do charge in their MSA agreement. But we do not have any such hidden charges or fees. Everything that Craig mentioned, 400, if it is kept at 400 per month per user, it will be 400. It will not be plus taxes, plus hidden charges, plus offboarding charges if you wish to offboard that employee, if that matters. There's no lock-in as well. Everything happens annually. The agreement is annual. However, the payment can be monthly, quarterly, or annually, depends on our behavior pattern of payments. Everything is customized as well. So if you are looking to hire freelancers plus EOR, and then first convert a freelancer, see how they work, and then convert that to a full-time employee, that can also be done. It doesn't matter if you are looking only for remote. We also enable on-site employees if you are looking to expand to a country where you do not think remote employees would make any productive gains. You can also have an on-site setup without having an entity. That can also be done. I have immense of case studies to share. Hopefully we can share them on the email. If you wish to contact us, there is the running banner which is lined up. So you can contact me or Craig, or also contact us on LinkedIn. We are always happy to answer any questions on employer of record or global hiring or global payroll. Anything to do with hiring plus don't know where to navigate, we are there to answer. That's it.
Actually, I've got one question that has come through on LinkedIn, and this question is from a gentleman called Steve Webb. Firstly, thank you for your question, Steve. But he's asked, how many different countries do you cover? And the answer to that is that we cover over 150 different countries. Now, the countries that we don't cover are countries where you probably wouldn't hire into anyway. But, Steve, what I would suggest, drop me over an email, and what I can do is I can run through and find out a little bit more about what your requirements will be, what you're looking to aim for, and then we'll find the solution for you which is cost effective for your business. So thank you for all that, Steve. I don't think there's any other questions come in. Like I say, this is very, very new. So what I'll do is I'll end this live chat now. However, we will do one again next week. If there is a particular time that you're looking for, if you could leave in the comments below. So after the stream is finished, it'll actually go to the comments below. You won't be able to leave live comments, but in the comment box below, let us know what time works for you, and we'll make that happen for you for next time. So if you are watching it on repeat, and like I say, there is no silly questions. Ask as many as you want, and yes, we will run through that. But I think, Bish, I think we might as well end it there. Um, like I say, please, please, please do go and follow Bish. You'll see him. The comments box will be there. It will say top comments or live comments. So go and click on Bish's URL there for LinkedIn and follow Bish. And if you want to, you can also follow me as well. And like I say, there is the webinar link that we did. It's about 45 minutes long, so maybe on the lunch break or something like that, have a watch of it. Let us know what you think. Any questions off the back of it? There's no silly questions. You can ask those privately. You can ask those on the next event that we will put out. So feel free to ask those. And if the link, you can't use that, do scroll down on the main page here, the EOR chat one, the global weekly EOR chat. What there will be is the Think Local Employee Global logo. Click on that. and you will see it on there. So, like I say, about 45 minutes long. So maybe watch it during a lunch break. You might not want to watch it. You might just want to listen to it. Absolutely up to you. But yes, that will go through, and we do show a little bit of the system there as well. But from myself and Bish, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next weekly chat.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.